Hi everyone. If you're like me or anybody today, you're wondering what's gone wrong with the world and why is everybody around you unable to see facts or the truth of all the situations, and why can't we all just get along? Why can't everybody see everything how I see things? And I wanted to do a video on this because it's been made very clear to me that I fall into this trap, probably maybe more than anybody else. I was driving in my car and I was behind a person with a Green Bay Packers sticker on their windshield. And I automatically looked at the car and my brain said, "Ugh, I hate that person. Why did I do that?" If it had been a cowboy sticker on the car, I would have been like, "Oh my gosh, my best friend is in that car. Woo, I wish we could meet." For all I know, the person that was in that car that I made that jump decision about could have been the nicest, most sweet human being on earth. And all the people that I honk and wave at that have cowboy stickers on their cars, they could be serial killers. I don't know these people. I think all of us right now are very polarized, and it's very important that we remember that as humans, all of us are born and prone to biases, internal biases. I want to make sure that I don't let my kids fall further into this trap. One of my kids came home the other day after finding out somebody that he loved and respected and admired was on the other side of an issue than he was. And he was devastated. And I was just brought a lot of sadness by this. I was like, I need to remind these kids, especially in this time, because right now where we are, everybody is snapping to these these conclusions about people. I want everybody right now to think of a person on the other side of an issue that you love, admire, and respect. And I want you to think of them long and hard and all the reasons why you love and admire and respect them. And then the next time that you jump to a conclusion about a group of people that this person is in, you picture their face and you picture all the things that they've done for you, and you say to yourself, my brain is operating on a confirmation bias right now. And I need to just stop that. I need to know that every single person that doesn't believe the exact same that I do can still be a really good, admirable, wonderful person. And hopefully they can all think that about us. Hopefully they're not all sitting there finding out how we lean on a certain issue and being like, oh, I've lost all respect for that family. So I wanted to do a video today about biases. I think it's important for all of us to remember right now, especially me. I'm going to try and go over with my kids all about this topic this week. And I know that I have been doing bad on football and on everything about this. So I'm going to be talking to my kids about this week. I want you to talk to your kids about this week. And I want to go through some of the biases that all of us have so that we can be aware of them, so that we can do better. The first bias that all of us have in our brain, naturally, is the confirmation bias. And what this is that when we have pre-existing beliefs, like the Cowboys are the best team in the NFL, even though they lose a lot, whatever, we want to only pick out information that confirms what we already believe, to confirm what we know. We don't look for differing opinions to question. And all of us have that. Like, if I go into a room, if it's a football party and there's a room full of people with jerseys, I'm going to, in my head, automatically gravitate towards the team that I like and assume that they are better people than they might be. If I think a certain set of facts are true, I'm probably going to lean more towards looking for facts that confirm that I'm right. So we all have that. We can all remember that. The next kind of bias that all of us have is the negativity bias. I am particularly prone to this one. It's when you notice the bad things that happen way more than you notice the good things that happen. I really do this a lot. You could call it pessimism, but it's not just that. It's that it's almost more enjoyable to notice and talk about and tell stories about the bad things that happened in your day or in your life than the positive things. And all of us do this. We perceive like the pain of losing something a lot worse than we would the joy of gaining it. And it's difficult to get over this one for me. Like, it makes us lose perspective on having a better attitude towards life. It's like when the idiot at a restaurant who has a really great life and just got a lovely meal and is eating with his family and friends, there's like not salt on his fries, not enough salt, and he calls the waiter back and gets really angry. They didn't put salt on my fries, and I asked for extra salt or extra crispy. Instead of noticing around him like that he's with his family, that he's blessed to be able to eating at a restaurant, he notices that there's no salt on his fries, and it ruins his night. We don't want to be that guy. Let's be aware of that one. The next one is called the incentive-based bias. And the best way to describe this one is a quote. I'm going to have to read it. It's by Upton Sinclair, and it says, "It's difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on not understanding it." I think we can all understand that if we're getting paid $1 zillion to like not realize something, it would be harder to realize it. You think of like the execs that get golden parachutes, and you think about at the worst extent of this, just the normal everyday good people who do terrible things just because they're pressured to by their boss, because they're incentivized, like, oh, we'll hurt your family if you don't do this terrible thing. They've done lots of studies about this in psychology, and it's easy to point fingers at people who do this, but if you really think about it, it would be easy for all of us to fall into this trap. So we all have that too. If we have an incentive to have a certain bias, we might have it. The next one is the actor-observer bias. And this is when we explain our own negative behavior by like good reasons. Like, if I were to be late, I really hate it when people are late, but if I were ever to be late, I would be like, oh my gosh, this terrible, awful thing happened that made me be late, that I couldn't control. But if other people are late, I'm like, maybe you should value time more. Like, maybe you should make that a priority and not be such a terrible person who's never on time. Like, it's when you think other people don't have a reason for their things, but when you do something wrong, it's fine. The actor-observer bias. The next one I think is the biggest thing that we need to talk about right now is the group attribution bias. And that's what I started out talking about. When you're part of a certain group, whether it be a football team fan, whether it be somebody like me who loves Harry Potter, whether it be a political party, whether it be a religious group, you're part of a group, and you see people that are not in the group that you're in as somehow different or lesser or wrong, and other people may see you in that same way too. I know for a fact that sometimes I've been given not the benefit of the doubt, just based on certain groups that I'm part of, religious or otherwise. People see me in a different light. So we all have been born with certain group biases, and some are learned, you know. I wasn't born a Cowboys fan. It was kind of like part of marrying Ryan. It was like it had to happen. But when you go to a game and you're leaving the stadium and you've won, like, your team is who you're on, and you look at everybody else and you're like, who are these people? All of a sudden you're best friends. Another, situation in my life that happened was that let me know about this was when I took my son to the Chester Bennington Memorial Concert. And this was a positive side of the group attribution bias. Every single person that was at that concert had to go to extreme lengths to get there because there were not very many tickets allowed. And every single person in that stadium loved everybody else, no matter what. All the other biases went away. So the group attribution bias can be positive, but it also can be negative, especially in really polarized times like right now. We need to be aware of it, and we need to picture that person that we love that's on the other side of an issue. Picture their face when our mind is trying to make us feel a certain way about a whole group of people, and hope that people on the other side can do that about us. I am challenging everybody out there right now to, on whatever issue is causing you stress and polarization, to picture a person that you love and admire and respect that's on the other side of this issue, and picture their face anytime you start doing that, and tell your kids to do the same. I am going to make a concerted effort this week to fill my kids' heads with love and respect for people that they know and love that are on the other side of different issues that they're thinking about right now. I know that this is going to be a little bit of a crazy time in the next couple of months, but we have a lot more in common than we think, and we need to remember the things that we love about each other. It's very important. So that's what I want to talk about today. Bye.